conducive environment for business. If we do so, people will do well. We must also invest in better infrastructure in rural areas too.
Tukifanya hivyo, watu watatengeneza kitu.
The president candidate of the United Republic of Tanzania from Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Dr. John Magufuli, has urged residents of Manyoni district, Singida region, to re-elect him for a second term so that his government can complete construction of the road from Itigi in Singida to Makongorosi Mbeya region. He made the pledge to the residents of Itigi while on his way to Dodoma from Tabora region.
Mtakapotuchagua katika miaka mitano inayokuja, kwamba lengo letu ni kuhakikisha hii barabara.
When you elect us in the next 5 years, our objective is for this road to be tarmacked. This promise is on. Contracts were announced but were corrupt. The cost became too high than engineers' estimate, so the project was cancelled to be announced afresh. This is the truth, and he who speaks the truth loves God. Our promise to construct the road is still on. They're speaking that once they get into power, all the minerals will be handed over to an outsider who will mine.
Waeleze ukweli, msema kweli ni mpenzi wa Mungu. Lakini ahadi yetu ya kutengeneza barabara iko pale pale.
The president candidate for the union government from United Multi-Party for Democracy Party has launched their election campaigns. Addressing the campaign rally in Zanzibar, the president candidate Halfan Mohamed Mazrui said if elected, UMD will implement the policy on constitutional administration.
The sea is our economy. I shall bring at least 20 companies with more than 50 ships each, and fish processing factories will be built here. How many jobs is that? We will use the sea as a place to grow the economy.
The president candidate for the National Republic of Tanzania from Chadema Party, Tundu Lissu, has told residents at campaign rallies in Karagwe, Misenyi, and Bukoba districts, Kagera region, that if elected, his government will ensure they get profitable coffee prices.
If the price is high in Uganda, the government will permit you to sell your coffee in Uganda. If the price is high in Zambia, we will organize for you to take your coffee in Zambia. If the price is high in Dar es Salaam, you will take it to Dar es Salaam. If Amcos here wants to buy your coffee, then they must compete with other buyers, so the price is high. The monopoly in buying is causing the price to go down because there is no competition, and we are part of the East African market. Bordering regions growing coffee and other commercial crops will be special economic zones, and you will be able to conduct your business freely. This will cause the price to rise.
The presidential candidate in Zanzibar from Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has continued with his street campaigns by listening and pledging to address problems facing small entrepreneurs in Kanyasini North District.
Mama wajasiriamali, kero ya kwanza, hatuna vyoo kwa sisi wafanyabiashara na wateja wetu. Kero ya pili, hatuna mitaro ya maji.
Women business operators have no washroom facilities. We don't have water to drink and for cooking. There is no electricity. I've come to meet with you so I can see the area that you work in. My promise to you is, first, we will improve your area of work. This market doesn't meet required standards. I've heard you, and I would like to assure you that a modern market will be built in this area.
Katika soko la Kinyasini, kero yetu kubwa, kwanza kabisa hatuna mitaji.
We don't have capital. We just hear that there is credit in the government that is given. and that there are institutions offering credit, but this is a dream to us.
Tanzania Official Seed Certification Institute has implemented an operation on shops selling seeds in Dar es Salaam, whereby they found uncertified seeds being sold in some of the shops.
Tumegundua kwamba kuna mbegu.
We've noticed that there are companies that were issued permits for seeds and have imported seeds into the country. But we found out once the seeds were tested the first time, some have expired and were not tested again.
Haya mapungufu hayatokani na sisi, yanatokana na viwanda vyao.
This deficiency is not from us, but rather it is from the country where they were manufactured.
Waliotengeneza huko kwenye makampuni yao wametengeneza, wamejaribu huko lakini zimegoma.
3 residents of Kanagani, Wete District, Pemba Island, have been admitted at Chake Chake Hospital after they suffered injuries caused by machetes used in an attack that occurred after early morning prayers. Among the injured is the chairman from CCM party in Wete, Kombo Hamadi Yusuf.
As I was praying the 3rd chapter, there was noise coming from behind, and people were taking shelter in the mosque. The wound has been stitched. When he arrived, he was bleeding, but doctors were able to control the flow.
Tulipata taarifa mapema kuna msikiti mmoja huko maeneo ya Kangagani watu wanaendelea na ibada.
We heard that as prayers were going on, they were attacked by one individual and slashed 3 people with a machete. Investigation has started and we will inform you once it is completed.
Na taarifa zaidi baada ya uchunguzi tutajulisha.
Opposition Chadema Party has said despite the National Electoral Commission announcing to have completed ruling on appeals lodged by various aspirants, there are still 60 members of parliament aspirants from the party who have not received rulings on their appeals.
Mkiwaambia mnafanya kazi, kuna wagombea udiwani wetu zaidi ya 300.
There are more than 300 candidates. You have a talk with, but no decision has been made. When you speak in public and say that you have finished, this is what is causing panic. So today we've decided to speak so the world knows that work is not completed. We've sent a letter and supporting information. We are waiting for a decision from the Commission. What we are going to do, we will cross that bridge when we get there.
Ndugu zangu, hakuna kata hata moja ambaye mgombea wake wa udiwani ameteuliwa. Kwa hiyo
there is not a single ward where its councillor candidate has been selected. So when the Commission claims that the exercise on referral has been completed, when in 12 wards in southern East Morogoro and 17 wards in southern Morogoro constituency, there is not a single referral ruling. It is cheating Tanzanians.
Na mimi hapa ambaye ni mgombea ubunge sijapata barua yoyote. Inawahadaa wa Tanzania, inawadanganya.
ACT Wazalendo Party has called on Tanzanians and supporters of the party to remain calm and wait for the official announcement of the party after their president candidate for Zanzibar, Sharif Hamad, announced at a campaign rally to support Tundu Lissu of Chadema as a union president candidate, despite ACT Wazalendo having its own presidential candidate.
Mgombea Tanzania bara. Mgombea Mheshimiwa Membe ni mgombea Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
Honorable Membe is the candidate in the United Republic of Tanzania. Regarding the matter at the right time and by relevant authority, the general public will be informed and have the opportunity to ask questions. I know that in the union, the president will be Tundu Lissu.
And that is the end of the national news. International news is next after the break. In international news, the Parliamentary Service Commission in Kenya says it has resolved to engage legal counsel and move to the High Court to challenge Chief Justice David Maraga's advisory on dissolution of Parliament. The latest developments come following a special meeting and after consultation with the Speaker of the two Houses of Parliament.
I have seen people outside saying, oh, Parliament must go home. Go home where? Elections happen in this country on the second Tuesday of the 5th year of the parliamentary term. Which election is this, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, we cannot create a constitution that gives free seat.
The Commission has taken the firm position that the action by the Right Honourable Chief Justice to advise His Excellency the President to, as aforesaid, is ill-advised, premature, and unconstitutional, and is a recipe for plunging the country into a constitutional crisis of monumental proportions. It is therefore premature, in our view, for the Right Honourable Chief Justice to take this action while the High Court is yet to determine that matter. The Commission regrets that the Chief Justice appears to be willing, even eager, to plunge the country into a constitutional crisis without exercising wisdom and circumspection that is expected of the high office that he holds.
The number of coronavirus cases in Burundi has continued to decrease due to the ongoing testing campaign in the country. The Ministry of Health has said regions with high case rates are Muyinga, Makamba, and the city of Bujumbura.
In a period of about 1 month, we've seen a drop in the rate of infection. The region and health zones, which were not affected with the pandemic, urge all citizens to continue to take precaution so as to protect themselves from the coronavirus.
2 women in Musanze district west of Rwanda were injured when a sand mine collapsed while they were digging at the illegal mine. The incident occurred after one of the women was trying to rescue the other when sand started falling into the pit.
We were digging for sand for construction, and all of a sudden one lady was buried in a heap of sand. Illegal sand quarrying is a criminal offense punishable according to the law. The area in question is not a safe place, so the authority has decided to place security officers while we look for alternative uses so it is not used for quarrying.
And that is the end of international news. Business news is next after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production. Infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
In business news, the Ministry of Minerals has called on mine owners in the country to implement the Corporate Social Responsibility Law so that communities near mines can also benefit from their minerals.
Hawa wawekezaji wanakuja
Investors bring modern technology, so the benefit must not end just in revenue collection. We must create an environment to ensure that this technology remains here. Our people inherit this technology because it has benefits.
Tuna kodi ambayo tunaitoa, tuna kodi ya huduma za jamii.
It is the first country to implement the CSR law, which was formed in 2017. We pay tax, but there is tax on community development, is at 3% of raw material.
The Managing Director of NCBA Tanzania, Margaret Karum, has said the bank is ready to provide services to all groups in society so that they can benefit from financial services.
Customers have the freedom and ease to use any ATM with an NCBA bank from Mwanza, Arusha, Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam, or in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Ivory Coast.
Ama katika nchi jirani za Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, na Ivory Coast.
And Business Registration and Licensing Agency BRELA has said it has put more emphasis on training on registration systems for business officers from all district councils in the country so as to facilitate and increase efficiency of services.
We're giving training in various conventions and forums, but to business officers in all councils.
Kukuta mwananchi anaingia gharama kubwa kwa kupitia vishoka na watu mbalimbali.
Find that one incurs high cost by using middlemen on a service which only takes a few minutes.
Na kupata taratibu zote husika.
And that is the end of Business News. Sports News is next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
In sports news tonight, a day after defeating Brambina in the Premier League, Ruvu Shooting are now confident of winning their next game against Biashara, who conceded a 4-goal against when they played against the defending champion Simba on Sunday.
We want to make sure we get 3 points everywhere from every team. Even if you are a tough team, we will get 3 points from you. That's why we are always saying this.
Boxing fans have been urged to turn up in big numbers at the Francis Cheka and Issa Nampepecha bout, with the promoter promising a good lineup in the preliminary matches.
Nyange is a new coach who is now making sure boxing is developed in Morogoro. We thank him for supporting us through his boxers. He has a boxer called Omar Athmani who will fight Joseph Martin. These are the kinds of fights we want to watch.
Sim tupoa na Redogo na Joseph Martin kafanya kazi nzuri sana kwenye ya match.
The British government has dealt a devastating blow to sports by pausing its plans for the partial returns of fans to stadiums on 1st October because of the rapid spike in COVID-19 cases. Here's more on that story.
It will add to growing fears that clubs could go out of business due to lack of gate receipts for potentially months more to come. Organizations will now be asked to forecast the potential financial impact of playing behind closed doors at least until next year. However, many will fear they could go the same way as Musselfield Town, which was wound up last week after a judge was told the football club owed more than £500,000.
Denny Hamlin has joined Charlotte Hornets owner Michael Jordan to form a NASCAR team with Bubba Wallace as the driver, a high-profile pairing of a black majority team owner and the only black driver at the NASCAR's top level. Here's more on that.
It was announced on Monday night in coordinated social media posts by Jordan and Hamlin, with Wallace adding his own comment. The posts showed a picture of Jordan alongside a fire-suit-clad Hamlin in a motorhome at a racetrack. Jordan becomes the first black principal owner of a full-time Cup team since Hall of Famer Wendell Scott drove his own race car in 495 races from 1961 to 1973. Scott's 1964 victory at Jacksonville 200 is the only win by a black driver in Cup history.
And Arsenal have confirmed the signing of the Iceland goalkeeper Alex Runarsson on a 4-year contract from the League One club Dijon. Here's more on that story.
Son arrives as Mikel Arteta reshapes his goalkeeping department following the departure of Emiliano Martinez to Aston Villa last week. Arsenal are believed to have paid Dijon around £1.8 million, and the 25-year-old will, for now at least, be Bernd Leno's backup. He could make his debut at Leicester in the third round of the Carabao Cup tomorrow.
And the sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. Thank you for watching and good night.